Welcome to Lesson 11C, Stokes flow over a sphere. In this lesson, we generate velocity and pressure fields for Stokes flow over a sphere. Then we'll integrate to calculate the viscous drag and the pressure drag. Here's the problem setup. We have a sphere of radius a, and we use spherical coordinates r, theta, and phi, with velocity components ur, u theta, and u phi. Free stream velocity is capital U in some fluid with density and viscosity. Here are our assumptions and approximations. Rotational symmetry means that any derivative with respect to phi is zero. Nothing changes around this axis. There's also no swirl. The flow doesn't swirl like this. And of course, Reynolds number is very small since we're talking about creeping flow or Stokes flow. These are the equations for Stokes flow. This flow was first solved appropriately by Stokes himself way back in 1851, and he used stream function and vorticity, where these are the definitions of stream function in axisymmetric spherical coordinates, and the only non-zero component of vorticity is omega phi, given here. When you plug these definitions into this equation, you get this equation for omega phi in terms of stream function. You can show that del cross omega is zero in creeping flow, and when you plug in this equation for the vorticity component, it reduces to this. In other words, 1/4 order equation for stream function psi. We thus need 4 boundary conditions, and I list them here. There's no flow through the wall, so del psi del theta has to be 0 at r equal a for all theta. Similarly, there's no slip at the wall, so del psi del r is also 0 at r equal a. Far away from the cylinder, we have a uniform stream, which in spherical coordinates is given as this stream function. The boundary condition is for r going to infinity, again at all theta. Finally, at the wall, we arbitrarily set psi equal to 0. This should actually say the third boundary condition, this one, indicates that we might be able to solve this with separation of variables. Stokes assumed that we have this form for psi, some function of r times sine squared theta, which will asymptote to this as r goes to infinity. Thus we can solve for this function f of r when you plug this psi into our differential equation. I'm not going to go through the whole solution. You can find it in several textbooks, such as Fluid Mechanics by Kundu, Cohen, and Dowling. I'll just give the results here, the stream function, the pressure, and the ur and u theta velocity components. Now let's calculate the drag on the sphere. We note first that the surface of the sphere is at r equal a, so we'll let r equal a in these equations to calculate the drag. We'll use a type of gauge pressure, which I'll write as Pg equal the actual pressure minus P infinity. From here then, Pg is minus 3/2 mu ua over r squared cosine theta. And then on the sphere, when we let r equal a, Pg is negative 3/2 mu u over a cosine theta. This is the gauge pressure on the body. To get the total drag on the sphere, we have to add up 2 parts, pressure drag plus viscous drag. There's a component of drag due to this pressure acting on the body. There's also a viscous component of drag due to shear stresses. Let's deal with pressure drag first. Here's our sphere of radius a, and let's look at some small area element on the surface, trying to draw this 3-dimensionally. The distance from the origin to this area element is a, the radius of the sphere. This is the x-axis with speed from the left. This angle is theta. The differential area element has area dA, and this gauge pressure always acts perpendicular to the surface element. Recall that we defined angle phi around the x-axis, so angle d phi is the angular extent around the axis of our area element. Similarly, d theta is the angular dimension of the area element in the theta direction. This angle is also theta, so this component of pressure in the x direction is Pg cosine theta. To get the pressure drag, therefore, we must integrate this x component of pressure over the entire surface of the sphere. Mathematically, d pressure is the area integral of Pg cosine theta dA, but since it's pointing in the negative x direction, we must add a negative sign. This is our integral to find the pressure drag. Well, it may be hard to tell from my sketch here, but dA is A sine theta, d phi, A d theta, which gives us the dimension in the phi direction and the theta direction, and when multiplied gives us dA. Thus, d pressure is minus the integral of theta going from 0 to pi, brackets, phi going from 0 to 2 pi of pg cosine theta, which is negative 3 mu u over 2a cosine theta. So we get cosine squared theta since we also have a cosine theta here. Here's our d phi, close brackets, and then our a squared sine theta d theta, where we broke apart dA. You may wonder why we integrate theta only to pi instead of 2 pi. That's because we go around only to pi, or 180 degrees, and then integrate over 2 pi for angle phi. Otherwise, you'd be doing it twice and get a factor of 2 error. Well, we can do a little bit of algebra on this equation, noting first that everything within the square brackets, this integral with respect to phi, has an integrand here that does not depend on phi. So this whole term in brackets, which I copied here, reduces to 2 pi from the integral times the rest of the constants. The two negative signs also cancel, so d pressure becomes 2 pi a squared 3 mu u over 2a times the remaining integral from theta equals 0 to pi of cosine squared theta sine theta d theta, where we've put outside the integral all the constants that are not functions of theta. All those constants can be reduced to 3 pi a mu u, and fortunately for us, this is a nice integral that can be solved easily since the derivative of the cosine is negative sine and it appears in the integrand. We get negative 1/3 cosine cubed theta evaluated from 0 to pi. Well, at theta equals 0, cosine theta is 1, and at theta equal pi, cosine theta is negative 1. The 3's cancel, and we finally get d pressure is 2 pi a mu u, which is a nice simple expression. Now let's look at the viscous drag. Again, I'll sketch our body with flow from left to right and radius a. The flow at any point along this body will go from the no-slip condition and grow from there. So again, taking our area element, in this case I'll put it right on the edge, we have some velocity profile like that. And if we look at a little fluid element right at the wall, our deviatoric shear stress, tau r theta, will act on the bottom of that fluid element with similar shear stresses on the sides. This direction is on the fluid by definition, so the opposite direction is tau r theta on the wall. Remember that from our convention earlier, tau r theta is the stress on the face perpendicular to the r direction, acting in the positive theta direction. I note that tau r theta is negative here, which means the actual shear stress on the wall is acting in the positive x direction, giving us a viscous drag. We look up tau r theta in spherical coordinates. We get 2 mu r over 2 del r of u theta over r plus 1 over 2r del u r del theta. We take this shear stress and integrate over the sphere surface area, just as we did for pressure drag. I'm not going to go through all the algebra and integration this time. Students can try it on their own. The net result is d viscous equal 4 pi a mu u. The total drag on the sphere is thus the combination of pressure drag and viscous drag. We had 2 pi a mu u for the pressure drag, and now we have 4 pi a mu u for the viscous drag, giving our final answer as the total drag being 6 pi a mu u. Recall from dimensional analysis, we determined that d total is some constant, which was unknown, times mu times some length scale times u. It's appropriate to set the length scale to the diameter of the sphere, which is 2a, and thus this unknown constant from dimensional analysis must be 3 pi, so that we get this equation. This confirms our dimensional analysis results, where we got this exact expression, except we didn't know the constant. Going through all the algebra and integration, we're able to find that constant. The bottom line is that this is the total drag on a sphere in creeping flow, And as a final comment, I'll show a clip from a famous movie by a famous character. Never underestimate the power of dimensional analysis. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. 1, 2, 3. That's all there is to it.